Hello guys. So first off, disclaimer on screen. Second off, this is my second take of this. Third off, don't send any harassment to Gooseworks. I might put some judgments towards Gooseworks, but that's because Gooseworks wrote the show and they are not actual personal judgments. It's mostly just like, why is it on Tumblr? Why is the information on Tumblr? Like, expect stuff like that. Like, when I talk about plot holes later. And a little bit of writing critique. It's writing critique, it's not aggressive. I don't want any hate towards the creator. I just have critiques. Also, I am doing the parkour as I film, so expect nonsense parkour. Uh, okay, next off, I do want to say I enjoy the show. I do want to clarify that pretty early on. My favorite is Gangle. And also, if I didn't enjoy the show, why would I make a Gangle themed skin? Oops, sorry for the burp. I just drank Monster Energy. We all expect that from me. I made a Gangle themed skin for this video with a little ribbon tail. If I did not enjoy this show, why would I do that? So, do know I do love and enjoy the show, despite my critiques. So, first off, I kind of just want to go over every character. I am going to save Jax for later in the video, because I have opinions. So, let's start with my favorite, Gangle. Things that Gangle did that I enjoyed, because yeah, everything. I relate to this character heavily. I can understand where Gangle comes from with a lot of things. I also am mentally ill. I also am an artist. I also have very similar things to Gangle. So, yeah. Oh, also, by the way, this has been rough drafted twice now, I guess, because I did film once before, so, yeah. If it seems a little scripted, it's not scripted. There's no script. No script. I refuse to use a script for anything I ever do, guys. Ah. Mostly because I'll do stuff like that. But Gangle, I understand as a fellow mentally ill person, and a fellow person who had to give up on their dreams. Okay, I didn't give up on my dreams. I gave up on my childhood dreams. As a kid, I wanted to be a farmer, but everyone told me that that would not work out, so I gave up on it. But, yeah, I get it, Gangle. I have also given up on my dreams, so, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from, Gangle. Um, Currently, I guess I'm on an art dream if I'm doing YouTube, but it's not my original dreams. Maybe one day I'll be popular enough to move into a farmhouse and stream, and you guys will get vlogs of my cows and sheep. Okay, sheep, because I have thought about being a shepherd before. Oh no, that was horrible. Okay, so I get it from that aspect. I also get the ranging mood as someone who has mood swings myself. I've been dealing with some pretty nasty ones recently, even, and they're not fun. Literally, like the other night, I was really, really happy for no reason, and I was like, oh, I am about to crash. And I proceeded to get on call with one of my friends so that they would be there when I crashed. I get it. I have mood swings. I relate to Gangle. I also want to push my own agenda. DPD Gangle. DPD, in particular, the way Gangle acts is, DPD, I can't describe it all at one time, but, it can have a way of becoming, quote-unquote, submissive towards everyone around you. And I just want to project that onto Gangle. Gangle, enjoy. Gangle does not enjoy. Oh god. I'm just gonna jump in the lava. But, yeah, I relate to Gangle. Gangle is my absolute favorite. I find her silly. I also, like art and stuff like that. I just gotta go around. Um, Next character I want to go over is my second favorite, Kane. Kane did not start as my favorite, and then I like chose. Oh, by the way, there's gonna be spoilers throughout this. I chose Kane as my favorite, like right before he died. I was like, oh, I'm really starting to enjoy Kane as a character. Mostly because I got him in a blind box. I got a blind box because I wanted a blind box. I was mostly hoping for Gangle, but I got Kane, and then he became my emotional support Kane for 5 minutes until it was like, oh, I think my emotional support needs emotional support. Ah, I just failed that so badly. You know what, just let me die in lava. But, yeah, Kane became my favorite because of that. I found Kane very enjoyable throughout. I love the doodles of bees. Personally, I also like bees. So, I get it. Maybe I'll draw a bee and put it on screen in honor of Kane. So, another artist. Oh, I guess I like the artists. Next favorite was Kinger. I do really enjoy Kinger. He's really funny to me, actually. Like, ultimately, I ended up laughing at, like, all of Kinger's jokes. So, like, I'm right behind you, aren't I? Pure laughter. I loved that joke so much. I found him so funny. I found him so silly. I found him very fun. I wish we got more of Kinger. We got a decent amount, but, like, I wish we got more, kind of thing. There we go. But, yeah, Kinger was pretty fun. Next, I would say, Zooble is next to my category, which I feel like we needed a lot more of Zooble. I mostly started to enjoy Zooble because Zooble and Gangle are pretty close. I also love non-binary rep. That is incredible. Hello, Zooble. Non-binary Zooble. Amazing. Or even just, I don't know exactly where on the non-binary spectrum Zooble is. Zooble is Zooble, which, ultimately, that's a really nice gender. Can I have it? Slash silly. What's up here? But, yeah. Oh, this thing. I would do this, but I am currently trying to beat my fastest time, not spend 5 hours doing this. So, but yeah, Zooble's pretty cool. I also feel like Zooble's really funny. Zooble's cool. Then, next one I want to put on my list of characters is Bubble. I laughed at a lot of Bubble's things, mostly because they all are very vocal stemmable lines. Like, most of what Bubble says could be a vocal stem. And as an autistic person, thank you, Bubble. Also, Bubble being Kane's thought bubble is like, I think Kane's autistic. Kane autism coded. I will drop my headcanons on the characters and cast while making this video, guys. I'm allowed to do whatever I want. It's my video. I I also on the Bubble thing want to mention Shrimp Town because I love the fact that that might just be deaf. And like, can we revisit the Shrimp Town thing? I did it. I have gotten to the end of the parkour again. I'll restart it because, yeah. Let's just get my ranking real quick. But Bubble made me laugh multiple occasions. Okay, B rank again, but last time it was 40 minutes and now I've gotten it down to 33, so like, I'm doing a little better actually. I'm trying to become an expert at this parkour for some reason, chat. I originally did this thing on stream once, so like, yeah. But, Bubble Made me laugh on multiple occasions. I love Bubble. Next is Ragafa. Ragafa, okay, the thing about Ragafa is I think I would have really, really, really enjoyed Ragafa if there was just a little more substance to Ragafa. Like, the main problem with Ragafa to me is the fact that they, they didn't do enough with her. Like, when it was the Ragafa episode and then Jax got more lines than Ragafa, it's like I didn't get to learn enough about Ragafa to really enjoy Ragafa, despite how from episode 1 I thought Ragafa might be the main character with Pomni. Like, I actually assumed that Pomni was just going to be the only main character. That was my assumption during episode 1, and I'm so sad that that wasn't what happened. Is like Pomni and then everyone else is like side characters, or everyone's a main character. There was two options in my mind from what it was set up as, and then we had the bunny. But let's move on because yeah. Okay, so next character I want to go over my opinions on is, okay, who's left? Pomni! Pomni, you're right after Ragafa. You guys being friends? Good, you're getting along. But, Pomni. I did enjoy Pomni at first, but I feel like Pomni just became not Pomni? It's like the character we were promised was character with anxiety. By the end, Pomni just kind of became #1 Jax supporter. And I kind of hated the change, because we'll get to Jax eventually, but, to summarize, I am not a Jax fan. I have actually disliked Jax since episode 1, so, and during that point, you can also skip ahead, because I will probably provide how to skip ahead. I don't know how to provide that. Yeah. But Pomni was funny at first and silly, and I liked who Pomni was as a person, till Pomni became pretty much just #1 Jax supporter and defender. That's when Pomni fell apart for me. But I liked Pomni and Ragafa's dynamic. I liked Pomni and Kangaro's dynamic. I liked Pomni and everyone's dynamics. Just, I feel like Pomni should have been more of the main character. It's not on Pomni of what happened. It's on Jax, kind of thing. Of like, Jax is the reason that Pomni became kind of sidetracked. But we came into a circus with Pomni, and I thought we were going to get a lot more Pomni content, and Pomni character development, and Pomni, Jester. I like Jesters. Jesters are really silly, and I find them scrunkly, and I like Jester characters. Pomni I liked at first, especially because it was a play on the Jester stereotypes of Pomni wasn't outspoken, loud, etc. like most Jester characters. Pomni was quiet, shy, anxious. Like, I wouldn't say shy, but I would say anxious. And that was enjoyable. Oh, this leads to Skulk, doesn't it? Yeah, the Skulk course. I need to do a Skulk course at some point. I accidentally fell down here, so I gotta reset. But Pomni became not what the character was originally. And I don't really like how Pomni became, but Pomni in early episodes, I'm gonna say, was pretty nice. I did enjoy Pomni. I enjoy how kind of a person she is to, like, offer to help so many times for everyone. I understand it, and I think it should have been elaborated on, because I feel like it's just high empathy, but I also am like, what is going on with Pomni's mental health? We've talked about everyone else's mental health. What's going on with Pomni? And it's like, people pleasing, or at least being the therapist friend, is sometimes a problem. But I feel like Pomni, from what we saw of Pomni, because we didn't get the elaboration, it can be more assumed as high empathy, which, pretty nice to have a high empathy character. How do I, oh, there. Because I have high empathy, and I get it. Like, I also am a traumatized individual who is the therapist friend, not by my own choice, but by my childhood trauma, but, like, I also get the high empathy. I have autism, which, pretty nice to have a high empathy character, but I feel like it could have just been done better, kind of thing. Like, there shouldn't be a question of if Pomni is high empathy, or if it's just, yeah. Also, Ragatha already suffers from people pleaser, so Pomni is probably high empathy, because I would just assume so, to not have as much overlap, because you can have characters who have the same issue, but it just, like, I don't think that I would say high empathy instead. Especially because Pomni does read as neurodivergent. At least anxiety does. I'd read Pomni as neurodivergent, so. Okay, who am I missing? Okay, so we're not talking about Jax yet. Let's talk side characters, because, yeah. Gummy Goo. Gummy Goo is fun, I guess. I liked the design. It was just, like, I feel like they did too little with Gummy Goo to actually care about Gummy Goo as a character, especially because they immediately reset him and he couldn't remember it. Like, if I had more time with him as an NPC, like, in the background or something, I would be a little less like, oh, I don't know what's going on with Gummy Goo. But they didn't really give me the time, like, to enjoy Gummy Goo away from the sentience, and then they tried to pull Gummy Goo back at one moment for dramatic effect, and I didn't care, because the NPC was never what mattered about Gummy Goo. It was the sentience, which he didn't have. So he was not the character I liked, he just looked like the character I liked. I did like his crash out, though. That was kind of nice to watch his mental breakdown. It was pretty interesting. I also have no clue why they decided that during the torture sequence, the torture for Pomni should just be Gummy Goo. Like, what? You really don't know your own main character's fears enough that it's Gummy Goo? That's the only thing Pomni fears? That's the only way to torment Pomni? I would think you would be able to come up with something else. So Pomni is underdeveloped, and Gummy Goo also suffers from the underdevelopment, based on being a, pretty much character meant to mostly just complicate Pomni. Let's talk some other NPCs. Do I have any other NPCs I can mention, actually? I don't think we need to mention the Glowing Queen. The Glowing Queen, I don't think we need to mention. Okay, oh, Ribbon and Kaufmo, yo! Okay, so I actually do enjoy both of the characters. I don't enjoy Jax. I enjoy his friends who abstracted because of him. Okay, them, Jax, because can't assume pronouns, but we don't know the exact pronouns, so yeah, I am gonna use they, them for Jax. But, or I'm gonna try, I might mess up, I apologize, chat. I'm pretty used to calling Jax by he, him, because the show, and ultimately, I still don't care about Jax much, so I haven't been, like, talking about Jax enough to get used to new pronouns as much with Jax, but I'm gonna try to do they, them. I just might fail. I might also go with she, her. You know what? Jax is an any pronouns character in my mind. AKA, I will accidentally use any pronouns on Jax, and I apologize. Because I will fluctuate based on the thing. Like, if I am talking about, isn't she wonderful? Like, that song, I will start using she, her, and stuff. It's weird. Jax is any pronouns in my head. But, I ended up with Ribbit and Kaufmo enjoying them more than Jax. Like, I genuinely, the entire scene with Ribbit and Cosmo, like, the entire flashback sequence, the entire time was just like, hey, Jax, can you move out of the way and let me watch Ribbit and Ragatha interact? Or, Cosmo and Ribbit interact with each other, or just any interaction where you're not there. I ended up just thinking that the entire time, and that shows something. But I do like Ribbit as a character. She's a very kind person, and I like that in a character. I like how Ribbit is characterized. I also like Kaufmo, because Kaufmo is really funny, to be honest. Man is the chillest guy here, and we all just, like... I wonder what happened to Man that made him so insane. I'm like, what? When did the insanity start, sir? Can I get the context of when the insanity started? Because I want to know. You were, like, really chill, and you were just like, yeah, what? What's going on? Jax, what? What is going on? And it's like, I love you, man. That's hilarious. You were the chillest guy here. But, yeah, I'm usually better at the parkour. I just am failing right now. I've done this multiple times, and there we go. Now I must be very locked in. I'm kind of zoning out. Like, my eyes are zoning out, but then I'm, like, talking. Anyone else ever experienced that? But I enjoy Ribbon and Kaufmo. I want to know more about them. I want to know how they interact with anyone other than Jax. Like, anyone, pretty much. Like, whoever you want to give them interactions with, give them. I might write a fanfic to just write them interacting with other people. Guys, should I write Amazing Digital Circus fanfiction? Says the person who is a Minecraft YouTuber, but also, overall, I'm gonna say I'm more of a writer than anything else. Like, I have 77 fics on AO3. Most about Minecraft YouTube. And Pokemon. If I wrote the Amazing Digital Circus fanfiction, that is just, I start rewriting this, like, I joked on stream the Amazing Digital rewrite, I will talk about that as well, that will be in a category of its own, I will be talking about episodes that I feel like we needed, but we didn't get. AKA, this show said no filler, and then suffered from no filler. Like, I genuinely don't know if the characters interact off screen. That was a mess. Okay, I need to lock in for this real quick, guys. I'm allowed to fall in the lava. If I could get to the thing in time, I shouldn't just... Okay. I'm, like, getting worse at the parkour, because I've been doing the parkour for, like, an hour now. Because, between takes. Because I did have another take that I just decided it was very unformulated, so yeah, oh, hiccup. Hiccups aren't real. They can't hurt you. But, yeah, let's get back into it. So, I do like Ribbit and I like Kaufmo. I find them interesting. I just ran into lava there. Okay, so, next... Oh, I gotta mention Queenie. I wish we got more of Queenie. Queenie is cool. I think she is a very cool character design, and I want to watch her and Kinger interact more. Kinger and his wife should be allowed to kiss, okay? I like how I am... Okay, I'm someone who really likes Yaoi and Yuri and stuff, but then I also like straight ships, too. I am someone who, like, if you hear someone go, oh, I only like Yaoi, oh, I only like Yuri, I'm like, I like both, but I also like straight ships. I don't really mind anything if the character dynamics are right. Like, if the character dynamics are on point, why would I not really love any ship that I'm handed? I don't care if it's Yaoi, I don't care if it's Yuri, I don't care if it's straight. I just like shipping. Shipping, my favorite hobby. And they're shipping us. They're shipping us to where? Sorry, I had to recreate that meme. But yeah, I wanted more of Queenie as well. I did want more of Queenie. I wish we got a, okay, I wish we got a flashback episode of Kenger to, like, the original group so we could have also seen Scratch. Because I am also very curious about that man. I'm very curious about that dog. That dog. But, yeah, I wish we got a little more content with Queenie. I wish we got a little more content with, like, everyone. But, let's talk plot holes next. Okay, so I personally don't mind plot holes. I'm gonna justify this immediately. I'm gonna be like, yo, I don't actually care if there's plot holes. The only problem is when the show treats it like the show did. Wait, what's in here? Oh, I just found an Easter egg. Okay, this has to be my take now. Okay, I'm gonna go in here real quick. Christmas. They have, like, the Christmas music playing. I hope that doesn't get me copyright striked. Nah, I don't really care about getting copyright striked. I'm not even monetized. I'm whimsy maxing, okay, chat? I want up there. Okay, I don't think I can get to it, but let's just explore around. Sorry, chat, I got kind of distracted by I just found an Easter egg. This is ruining my time, but, like, yeah, back on topic. I don't mind plot holes. I actually don't. But the problem with the Amazing Digital Circus isn't just plot holes. That's the thing. Yes, there is problems of plot holes, but there is also problems of, like, way too many plot holes. And also, I am gonna say it, the episode that was just, your theories suck and none of it is canon, haha. I hate that. Like, it was a fun episode to watch, but it also felt like just pushing the fandom down for theorizing. Especially when they didn't clarify, like, anything. Like, they said brain scans and then they suddenly swapped to Jax. Like, they didn't really care about the brain scans enough, I'd say. Like, I feel like the show did suffer from not making as much lore as it promised. It, like, I also respect to, like, fucking game theory, film theory, actually, for, immediately figuring this out. Immediately figuring out the plot, episode 1, jeez. Good job, game theory, film theory, whatever it is, theory. Good job, you figured it out. I'm actually not mad that the plot was that easy to figure out. I gotta change my position, chat. I'm actually not upset that the plot was that easy to figure out. That's fine. But the thing is, throughout the entire show, they drop theory hints that, like, didn't lead to anywhere. Like, why did the characters forget their names? Why? What was the purpose? I saw someone who went over this call it Fury bait, which, yeah, it was kind of Fury bait. It was Fury bait. And I think that's when it becomes a problem, because, like, I don't care that it wasn't as lore heavy as most shows we watch, but it treated itself like it was the next Gravity Falls, and then just pulled the rug out from under everyone. It just went, oh, nope, all of this didn't matter, and it's like, why the fuck did you act like it mattered then? Like, come on. Why act like something matters if it doesn't end up mattering? I'm gonna go this way this time. But, yeah, the main thing was the Fury baiting, because, like, I don't mind plot holes, I don't mind stories that don't always focus on lore, because I personally write some stories that don't always focus on lore. I actually like writing character interactions more than I like writing lore. But the problem is when you tease the lore and then the lore doesn't exist. That's where there's an actual problem. They teased a very lore-heavy series and then gave the fans nothing but an episode that's pretty much like, haha, why did you theorize on this? It's very simple. It's, we're not doing any of that. It's like, why? Why do you bully your fans for being fans and having theories and having fun? Like, theories are for fun, and why do we have an episode that just disclaims all of them? Because, like, the episode itself isn't bad, I'm gonna say. The problem is it comes off as bullying your fans, because, yeah, it kinda does. I also feel like they needed to touch on some things. For example, there is a plot hole that is so massive that it annoys me as a Gangle fan. How did Gangle get here? Gangle is supposedly in a hospital and then is here. Huh? What's going on with that one? But, yeah, how did everyone get here? Because, like, we got some answers. For example, Pomni probably just found this building. Easy, simple, finished. But then you get into some other people and you're like, how? Like, Ragatha. Why was Ragatha here? Why was Ragatha here? Also, we all gotta mention the fact that Ragatha's own episode had more Jax lines than Ragatha lines. The plot holes and the information we got is just not enough. Okay, we gotta talk about the bunny rabbit. This is the Jax section. I have firm opinions on this character, and if you want, like, just skip ahead, listen for me to not be mentioning Jax's name every sentence, because this is going to be kind of hate on the character. Like, I don't like the character. I will be doing this in a critical lens. No offense to anyone who made this show. I just personally do not like the character. So let's talk about Jax. Jax is not a good person. That part, I feel like I'm not going to get any arguments, but for some reason I also feel like people are going to argue that. I have been a Jax hater from episode 1. I didn't like how their mouth moved. And that was a petty reason to not like Jax, but, like, also you're allowed to not like characters for whatever reason. I also didn't like how they treated Gangle, but I mostly had a problem with the mouth thing because it just creeped me out how it was animated. So, yeah, I had this problem for the first 2 episodes. Eventually, I got used to it, but I also still don't care about Jax. But, Jax is not a good person, and I think the finale was bad because of it. The finale pushed the wrong idea with Jax, ultimately. It treated the explanation behind Jax's actions as an excuse, not an explanation. I would get it if it was an explanation, not an excuse. But ultimately, that was an excuse, not an explanation. So, yeah. Let's talk about misogyny real quick because, like, I guess I'm talking about this. So, if anyone knows, I was assigned female at birth. So, I can talk about this. Yay, I am a man now, but trans mask people still dealt with misogyny. The world outside, unlike the world on the internet, still thinks I'm a woman. Like, no matter what I do, they think I'm a woman. So, I have dealt with misogyny. I actually, for context, I've been catcalled. So, I've definitely am still seen as a woman by the world outside, unfortunately. We all forget that trans mask people do deal with actual misogyny still, because most people who are misogynist are not trans inclusive of being like, you're a trans man, so you're a man, so I no longer, like, yeah, that's not how the world works, sadly. I would love to have been like, I'm a man, and then suddenly, the misogyny go away. But no, not how the world works, unfortunately for me. But, now let me have to talk about it, because, yeah. So, I have dealt with misogyny, and personally, I don't think Jax's actions are excusable. Especially because Jax was violently misogynist. Like, if it was just words, I would be like, it's unexcusable. But Jax stomped on Gangle's mask multiple times. Threw Ragafa in an air fryer. Let's all remember that moment. Pushed his mother and might have killed his mother. We don't know. Their mother. They, them. Yeah, sorry. They, let's see, pushed Ribbit to abstraction, etc. They have been consistently violent towards women. And that is not okay. Like, even if it's because I can't be a woman, so I am gonna, like, push other people down, it's like, first off, that's not excusable. And second off, that's not a proper excuse for this, because yes, I am gonna say I do get it in a way, because, let's talk what I did as a kid. So, I did project my way I couldn't be a man onto my plushies as a kid. Like, think when I was like 7, 8, 9, etc. Pretty much any age 6 to like 13 before I figured out that, wait a second, I'm allowed to be a man. I wouldn't let any of my plushies be male. None of them. Nada. There was like a couple, but they were like, you know, like Ken from Barbie? Pretty much that was how they were characterized. But I did this because it wasn't even I want these characters to be women. It was, I don't get to be a man, so why should my stuffed animals be a man? What's the meaning of being a man? Why can't I be a boy? Why can't I have grown up a boy? So, ultimately, I did push sexist beliefs onto my plushies based on my own childhood not growing up as the gender I wanted to be. But I never pushed this onto other people. I used inanimate objects to handle my gender. I wrote characters with the same struggles as me instead of what Jax did. Oh, I just broke that. That sucks. What Jax did of actually hurting people. So, what Jax did is not excusable. It explains, like, what happened to him explains it, but it does not excuse it. And I feel like it was written as an excuse, not an explanation. An explanation is like, this character did this bad thing because of this. No, you should not feel bad for the character. The character still did the bad thing. It's just, yeah, this is the reason why the character did the bad thing. The character's still bad. Meanwhile, the show is like, oh, Jax should have reached out to people, told people, that would have fixed it all. And it's like, no. I feel like Jax would still be an asshole. That's a behavior pattern that is kind of long-living. I don't like Jax. I have not liked Jax since episode 1. And yes, I do think that they're good representation. Any representation is good representation for trans people. I'm just pointing that out, that I personally like any representation in anything for my trans brothers and sisters. We all need representation, and it's okay to be representation in a villain. However, the problem is not that, it is how Jax acts. It is the fact that it's used as an excuse for horrific actions, not as an explanation. Because if it turned around and said Jax is still bad, or if Pomni was like, I'm sorry that for what happened to you, I hope you can find peace, I feel like you could have been a better person in a different life. Just anything to show Jax is still considered a bad person would be nice. Instead of justifiable, oh, we're all gonna now take care of Jax, and that was the problem. I get how Gangle feels. Like, watching Jax still be cared about was so uncanny, and I couldn't cry for the character. I was only really glad that the character was gone, because the character genuinely, the entire show, antagonized my favorite character, and I understand if I was in real life around Jax, I would be in a bad mental state, because Jax would target me like he targets Gangle, because I am what's perceived as a woman sometimes, but I am transmasc, genderqueer, get it right. But the thing is, I'm vulnerable. Jax in particular chose to target Gangle, the most vulnerable person there, which is the biggest issue, because, like, it wasn't even Jax targets people, it's Jax went for the mentally ill person who couldn't fight back, and that's not okay. Like, genuinely, he went for a very realistic thing of the most mentally ill person who wouldn't fight back, and that's bad person behavior. That's not excusable under, he's traumatized. They, them, oh, I forgot. It's not excusable under that. That just isn't. And the show tries to act like it is. And it's like, if Jax was a real person, which, yes, fictional characters, you are allowed to enjoy fictional characters, because they aren't real people and their actions don't I don't want to do that. And their actions don't actually affect anyone. Yes. Yes, you are allowed to enjoy that. But Jax just hits so close to home of let's use examples from another media. Um let's say sympathizing for Sunny from Amori. That is a lot easier to do because sure it's based in reality, but it's not something that happens every day. Meanwhile, every day people are misogynist to other people. There are people who genuinely hate people who are assigned women at birth, like assigned female at birth. There are people who genuinely hate on AFABs all the time, constantly. The there people have been misogynist to me. People have been misogynist to everyone. And Jax hits too close to home, especially because there has been also physically abusive people in that space too. Pretty commonly, actually. Oh, I just did a pretty good time, I believe. But yeah, it hits really close to home, which is the biggest problem with Jax, in my opinion. Because then they try to justify the actions. Because, oh, B rank again. But they try to justify the actions after all of that. And that just should not be justified. It's. It can be explained, it should not be excused. Jax is written as an excuse, not an explanation. I'm gonna sit up here and continue talking because, like, yeah, let's parkour at the end. I also just need to blank finally because I wasn't blanking. But, I don't like Jax as a character, if you guys can't tell. I don't like Jax at all. Jax is not a character I enjoy or would ever enjoy. The character's bad actions hit too close to home, and I feel like it's okay to hate Jax. Like, everyone keeps acting like, oh, you shouldn't hate Jax. Jax is this poor little baby. And I'm like, that is a grown person. It's okay to hate a grown person who is doing bad actions. Bad behavior does not, like, being trans does not change your bad behavior. Gender does not matter in who someone is as a person at all. Genuinely, I do not perceive gender and how someone is on the same levels because men and women and non-binary people, we're all people. Just gonna say it, gender is a concept. You can commit to the concept. That is what I do. I commit to the concept of masculine because I am more comfortable with being masculine. But reminder, it is a concept at the end of the day, so it doesn't change the fact that Jax is a bad person. But I've seen a lot of people talk like it does, which it just doesn't. So yeah, I don't like Jax, if anyone can tell. Let's end this on a more positive note. Let's talk episodes that I feel like should have been included, but like we didn't get an episode about it. Okay, so I was actually like, if anyone saw the live stream where I was talking about this, I pretty much started this kind of AU called the Amazing Digital Rewrite. AKA, I am rewriting it slightly in my head. I might make a fanfiction about this. But pretty much the ideas that I touched on with this idea is, first of all, I touched on how to give more character development and more development into the characters interacting, which I suggested that I feel like there should have been an episode that pretty much shows interactions between the characters that aren't just Pomni interacting with everyone. It also develops Pomni and Jax being friends, because I feel like it kind of came out of nowhere that Pomni and Jax were close. I would say that an episode where it's the team of Pomni and Jax as a B plot, but then the other group is Gangle, Zubul, Kinger, and Ragafa as a group being the A plot, and then in like sitcom fashion they swap between the POVs, aka they'll start with mostly A plot, it will mostly be A plot, but then B plot is like, you know, the rodeo joke with Kinger of what Kinger was doing during the fast food episode where Kinger was just at a rodeo? I want very little context like that one of what Pomni and Jax are doing. I just want to cut to them occasionally just pretty much being tormented for a joke kind of thing, like the humor of it. But that would also develop that they interact off screen. Because one of the biggest critiques I have seen about this show is it feels like none of the characters interact off screen. So, giving that context would give the context that, yeah, they definitely do interact off screen. I feel like that could be a very interesting thing they could have done. And then we would also get to see the side characters away from the main characters. Because, in all honesty, I think all of the characters should be the main characters. I don't think there should be someone who is left out, kind of thing. These characters are all a very small group, and they are all in every single episode at some point. They are all main characters. They are the main cast, and I think that they should have, given more interactions between the others. Also, I think it would have been funny, kind of thing, to see, just the group of four, problem solving and stuff, and interacting, and being a group, maybe an episode where Gangle doesn't break her mask for once because Jax isn't there to break it, kind of thing. Meanwhile, Jax and Pomni, going through a horror adventure, pretty much, and you just get cuts to that, what are Jax and Pomni doing? Running for their lives from a boulder. I feel like that could have been interesting, and they could have even included a Jax and Pomni interaction in the B plot, like a full conversation that we could have seen, where maybe they talk after being almost ran over by the boulder, Indiana Jones style. But yeah, I feel like they just could have done a lot more, kind of thing, of yes, I get that Gooseworks said, I don't like filler, but I think the show needed filler. I think the show needed some interactions that were just to develop the character interactions between the cast. Literally, I don't think I ever saw Ragafa and Zubul and Gangle. I have never seen Ragafa interact with those two one-on-one in a conversation that is not with Pomni there. I don't even think with Pomni there. I don't remember any time those those two talked to Ragafa, and that's weird. That's, notably surprising that there is no interaction between those people. And I feel like they needed an interaction, please. That would have been incredible, and we would also Kinger didn't interact with them other than Ragafa. For some reason, Zubul and Gangle are their own little duo in a corner where they kind of just disappear from the main plot, and I feel like that shouldn't have been what happened, kind of thing. I feel like they could have developed more and been more around the rest of the cast. And then, also, I feel like Pomni and Jax, their friendship kind of came out of nowhere, but, this kind of episode would show that it doesn't come out of nowhere. And it would give elements for character development, character understanding, etc. that are missing. I also feel like they needed an episode in the fairgrounds. I don't know what they would do there, but I would actually theme the fairgrounds after a spy adventure of you know how spy adventures where they have to blend in? I'd say because the fairgrounds and the circus would have very similar aesthetics, I would do a spy adventure where they're like trying to blend in with the NPCs. That would have been fun to watch. Interesting. We could have seen like some nice jokes and some nice character interaction there as well. I I also feel like we needed a backstory episode where it's just Kanger and the original cast. I think we needed that so bad. I also feel like we just needed more Ribbon and Kaufmo moments because it's like I feel like they were such good characters, but then just defined by knowing Jax. Okay, yeah, I think this yap is over. I'm gonna do some really shitty editing and then like post it. So if the editing's been bad, I'm lazy. This was for fun. I'm having fun. I'm whimsically talking about something I really, really like. Look at my skin. Look at that little ribbon tail. This is a Gangle cosplay practically, but like my Wolfie version of Gangle. Ah, also slightly based on Art Fight, because I am Team Tragedy. If you guys want to check me out, Wolfie Floof there. It's Art Fight season. I love Art Fight season. Yippee-ki-yay!